It has come out that some pastors have been warned of an imminent disclosure of UFOs. Have you caught this? And would you be shocked by it if that is the case? I think that we have been slow boiled to a point that nobody really cares at this point. Nobody would be shocked one way or the other. Nothing is surprising to us in this day and age. But we're going to check this out, and then also we got a little funny clip at the end.
A large number of pastors that had been invited to go to a certain state to hear some men in the United States government and others share with them a concern that they had. He said, Perry, what they're about to release, from what we're hearing, there's going to be a release concerning aliens and concerning unidentified flying object spacecraft, that some of the people who were in the meeting were telling us as pastors, you need to prepare your people and you need to get ready to answer them for what you're about to hear being released. And
so this is from Complex, a Tennessee-based evangelist whose track record, to say the least, is not exactly glowing, has come forward to report that pastors have received a warning from the U.S. government regarding UAP, formerly known as UFOs, disclosure. In a video shared on YouTube this month and subsequently clipped into oblivion on X and elsewhere, Perry Stone of Perry Stone Ministries claimed he had recently received a text message from a friend alerting him to a meeting involving religious leaders. So this is, what are we supposed to do with this? What are we supposed to do with this at this point? Why would this be? Are you to the point where you're kind of like, it's like nothing new under the sun? I think that might be the slow drip plan of the government to just make us think this. I'm ready for a disclosure to happen because something's going to happen. Trump he disclosed the JFK documents. He eventually released the Epstein files. A lot of it has, the JFK, it turned out to be what did we really find out? What was big about it? I just see over and over repeatedly there's such buildup, but then it's just, okay, nothing, it's not really life-changing or life-shattering. Our lives aren't just different tomorrow after what we learned today. Nothing really, and really, this is something, because I have been aiming to be more decisive on what I think. But this right here regarding aliens and what it's going to be, it doesn't really matter. You can be a little bit wishy-washy because it's okay, it's not that big of a deal. It's not going to change what I'm doing tomorrow. I think we all assume there's aliens to an extent, whether you come from it from a religious viewpoint or just a science evolutionary viewpoint. You understand that there's bigger things out in this universe. We think that we're not special, that this, there's got to be other life forms out there anyways. But then it's kind of weird. It's when we hear about this, people are always saying it's these life forms, they're coming out from the sea. They're out in the oceans, deep water. They're not necessarily coming from outside in the where the stars and the galaxies are at. It's coming from within our own world. So I just think it's kind of crazy. It's not going to shatter my worldview. And I think Christians, if they're not prepared for this, because something could come about, that Donald Trump stands before the podium and he's shaking hands with an alien. It might be staged and fake, or it might be real. But it's if you're a Christian, I think we can be prepared for this. We're not bought into the whole science explains everything, because God and science don't contradict each other. But it's we understand there are other entities out there. We are not the only thing. We know a very a little brief snapshot of what ultimate reality is. We understand that we are outside of this world. There are angels. There are entities that are bigger than us. And it's even if there are aliens, God would have created the aliens. We understand that everything came into being that is from God. It's not nothing is outside of God's worldview. But I want to look at this. This is a pretty interesting clip, and it Tim Dillon, he brings it home of what's this going to change for us.
Everybody is apparently really curious about UFOs. They want to know. They want to know. And then with that knowledge, I don't know what we do. That's the other thing. What exactly shall we do with this knowledge that you're giving us? What exactly is the next? What's the next step here? Just give people, hey, which a bunch of there's crafts. They've been visiting the planet. By the way, I believe you. I get it. Sure. I'm with you on that. Okay. But again, what's the actionable? What's some guy supposed to do when he's sitting in a Panda Express? What's he supposed to do now that he knows this? Now that he knows that higher intelligence has been observing him at the Panda Express, where exactly? What's he supposed to do? Does anyone think about But this is where we're at now. No one even cares. By the way, no one really cares. The people I talk to, they don't trust the government at all anymore. They don't trust the media.
Exactly. I mean, that is. It's not going to change tomorrow for us if we wake up on the news this has happened. It's been disclosed. They're aliens. Woohoo! Yay! That's awesome. Go get them, guys. It's not going to bring us all together. We're not going to unite as the world, United States and Russia and China and all the little countries else that are out there. We're going to do an Independence Day style and fight them off. But it has been a slow drip. I just think all this it's not this is in God's plan. We understand that towards the end of the age, either way, however close we are to the very, final day, because there will be a last day, that we're told about. We are a day closer each day, but it does talk about there are going to be signs and wonders and deception at the very end. So it's if aliens are there, I'm not going to bow down and worship the aliens. And I'm not going to be mesmerized and my faith has been shattered. I think that would be the test. And throughout the entire scriptures, the thing is, God gives us his word. He reveals himself to us and he says, follow me. And if anything comes and tries to get you away from following me, that's a lie. That's deception. There are going to be false prophets. There are going to be people that stand up and try to lead people astray. So this whole thing about aliens, it's not for Christians. If it's going to rock your world, you need to really examine the scriptures and you need to examine your walk with God. But I don't think real Christians are going to be shaken by this because it's going to happen. But it's probably going to fizzle out. It's probably not going to be as monumental as we would expect it would be. When it's the government, little by little, is just they just give us a little taste, and we're like, okay, and they're like, nobody's going to be shocked. And I think that we can just take it with a grain of salt. We can take it like it's just the next step. There is going to be mass deception. So just if the alien comes down here and everybody says we need to take this mark and be united with this alien, I think you might need to let's not go there. Let's be smarter about this. We're not going to go with that, but the vice president, he has said that it's demons. I don't think that these things are necessarily demons. I believe there are going to be real entities, real beings that are out there, but it doesn't mean that Satan's not controlling some of the things, that Satan's not going to use it for his purposes, but then God's going to use it for his greater purposes. So I think we can rest easy, rest at peace, whatever happens, however this goes. But the pastors now that pastors are being told, prepare your congregation. If you're in the congregation, of the Lord, you should just, it's just another day. That's all it is. It's just another day, so we're not going to be shocked by it. All right, we'll leave it at that. Let me know what you think. Or is this going to rattle your viewpoint, your worldview? Drop it in the comments. Let me know and have a good Thursday. See y'all.